In this video, we will go to discuss about enablers of supply chain performance. How the supply chain performance will going to be takes place. The three major enablers that have been helped firms and nations in reducing supply chain costs are: number one, improvement in communication and IT industries. Advanced energy resources planning systems (ERP) have helped firms in automating several business processes, resulting in seamless information flow throughout the company across different functions. What are the information flows which we are talking about? They're talking about the product information. It may be talking about how the transportation will going to take place. What are the other business processes which are going to be there, and the sales. All those informations has to be carried out, and it should be automated, and that means the upgradation will go to take place automatically. Updated information will be taking place automatically. The way ERP systems have changed the nature of information flow within organization. Internet technology is likely to change the nature of information flow in inter-firm transaction. That means transaction takes place between one firm to the other firm with EDI, electronic data interface. That means the information flow within the organization and also between the two organizations will going to be takes place through the internet technology. In the past, only large companies could integrate with partner firms using expensive EDI technology, electronic data interface. That means the companies who have got a good financial capacity they were integrating between the firms. Now, even small firms can communicate with their chain partners using the World Wide Web at a fraction of the earlier cost. That means the cost has been considerably reduced. The cost has been considerably reduced and communicate with the firms with a very reasonable cost. So then what happens? Then even small firms started communicating with their chain partners. To really exploit their IT investments, companies need to re-engineer their supply chain and other supporting organizational processes and try to replace physical inventory with information. So that means to really exploit their IT investment, so they started re-engineering. So that means they started rebugging. That means they wanted to rethink about the supply chain informations and then physical inventory with the information. Try to replace the physical inventory with information. So what is that? The physical inventory, the physical stock, what they had, they want to replace with the IT. Many Indian companies have invested in information systems but have not made the corresponding changes in their supply chain system and processes. So what happened? So many of the Indian companies have invested because of the latest technology which has been coming in the market or through the globalization. So Indian companies have started investing on the information system, but only problem was they were not made any corresponding changes in the supply chain and their system and processes, which has resulted in the company failing to exploit the information system to its full potential. So because of that, what happened? Because they will going to get the information across the globe from the different companies. But since they have not made the much changes in the supply chain, so they were not able to get or exploit the information what is available in the globe. A significant number of companies have used IT to just automate the existing supply chain system and processes. That means many companies have used only the information technology to automate the existing supply chain in their company. That's all. Companies that have successfully exploited IT have made major changes in their supply chain structure, system, processes, and strategy. So the companies which have been successfully exploited the IT have made major changes in the supply chain structure, like systems, processes, and strategies. Then the second point is emergence of third-party logistic providers, 3PL, third-party logistics. What does this logistic means? That means they need to concentrate on transportation, they need to concentrate on shipping, warehouse services, providers, freight, forwarders, all these things comes under logistics. So previously the firms are used to have the in-house, but now they have started asking the third-party companies to be involved in this supply chain. Traditionally, many firms have been managing their logistics activities internally. So that means, they have started in-house logistic activities. That means lately companies have realized that they need to focus their energies on managing core business activities. By doing so, what they were getting into is they were not able to concentrate on their core business activities. Suppose if a firm has got suppose if a company has got to develop an automobile car, they were just when they had the logistics has to be maintained by them, then they need to concentrate on the transportation, how to transport the vehicles from one location to the other location. And by doing so, what happened, because they need to have more resources, because once you have to transport the vehicle, so we need to have a vehicle, we need to have a driver, and once we have a vehicle, then we need to have the maintenance of the vehicle, and then the salary for the people, and the initial investment on the vehicle. All these things will going to have a major toll on the companies. So because of that, they were not able to concentrate on their business core, and hence have been exploring the possibilities of outsourcing logistic activities to third-party logistics, that is 3PL service providers. In developed countries, almost 90% of logistics activities are outsourced and are managed by 3PL companies. That means third-party logistic network companies. So that means, in developed countries, 90% of the logistics are taken care by 3PL outsourced, and it has been taken care by their network companies. In developed markets, global firms would like leading 3PL companies to go beyond the traditional role and play the role of 4PL company that can integrate the capabilities, resources, and technology so as to provide comprehensive supply chain solutions to its customers. So what are the requirements of the logistic? One is to integrate the capabilities of the company, the resources available, and also the technology required. What are the technologies involved? So you should have a good network, because that is the one which will go to play a major role. That means we need to transport the vehicles from one country to the other country. So how to transport them, how to integrate them, all those things which will go to play a major role. So for that reason, they must have good technology and resources, because we need to have a sufficient economical background, and also we should have sufficient number of people, and also what are the requirements for that has to be available in the company. Currently, the 3PL industry in India still evolving. So that means third party logistic in industry in India is still coming out. Two sets of companies have emerged in this field. One set of companies involves traditional transportation, shippers, warehouse service providers, and freight forwarders. So that means one set of companies is traditional, that is transportation. They go by transportation, that is local. Shippers, that means they wanted to send the dispatch the product through sea. Warehouse services, wherein they need to give the large stockyard area so that they can be store the product. And freight forwarders, that means if you want to dispatch the products through the flight, who want to offer value added service and would like to see if they can develop competencies and become 3PL company. The second set of service providers comprises international 3PL companies that have come to India along with their global MNC customer. So the second type of services is third-party logistic companies which have come from abroad. So the people who want to have the major business to be set in India, they will go to bring the 3PL companies so that they will going to have a good rapport with the company, so with their global multinational company customer. For example, when Toyota wanted to set up the manufacturing plant in India, it asked its logistics service provider, Mitsui and Company, to come to India to take care of its logistic requirements. So that is the main criteria, because since in the abroad they had a good rapport with them. So once they wanted to establish the business in India, say they wanted their logistic service provider only to come to India, so that they will going to have, there is no problem, because normally what happens is whenever the companies are tied up, so they will have a good understanding between them. So the same thing which will going to be if they come over to a different country, and these type of logistic activities will not be hampered by asking some other company which is in that particular country to be tied up, because of to understanding the things of the core business company, that itself will going to take more time. With the evolution of the Indian market, new MNCs and progressive Indian companies operating in mid-volume, mid-variety segments have started using the services of 3PL companies. Mid-volume, the capacity of production. Mid-variety, that means in the company, in the product development, they will going to have number of varieties of products. So to do that, the progressive Indian companies, they themselves are looking into new MNCs to develop the three-party logistics companies. Next, enhanced inter-firm coordination capabilities. It has been realized that for a network to function meaningfully, one needs a firm to play a role of strategic center. What does it mean, strategic center? The strategy which has to be developed so that you are going to have the in-time delivery of the product. Companies like Apple, Nike, Benetton, Nintendo, Sun and Toyota have successfully managed complex networks, played the part of the strategic center, and hence have emerged as the role models to other companies. Each company in the network focuses on its core competencies. The strategic center function as a leading and orchestrating system. So each company in the network focuses on the core competencies. That means what is their core business. So what is their competency in the core? They will go to have a good focus. The strategic center functions as a leading and orchestrating system. Consequently, supply chains becomes more efficient and responsive. So because of all these things, so supply chain will going to become more efficient. That means you will going to have the good competency and also the responsiveness. That means whenever you want to have a problem, we need to respond to the requirement. However, there have been a large number of failures also, where firms within the chain could not align their interests, and as a result, the network could not function effectively. So, even though we have so many advantages in this, because some people or some companies have a large number of failures where the chain could not align their interests, because some people or some companies may not be able to understand the importance of the supply chain. As a result, because they are concentrating on the core business, and because of that they will not be able to concentrate on the supply chain. Because of that reason, the network could not function effectively. In the next video, we will going to discuss about the supply chain performance in India. Thank you.